Good morning, students. In the previous class we discussed multiple inheritance. So in multiple inheritance, a class which is derived from two or more base class, we already discussed a typical program on multiple inheritance. Today I will show you how to write a program on multiple inheritance in the examination. I will give a simple program. Header files # include iostream.h # include conio.h class name of the class I'll take base 1. Class name is base 1. In the public section I'll take a function void print this is base class 1. Close. So as per the definition, multiple inheritance means a class which is derived from two or more base classes. So I have taken one base class, its name is base 1. Another base class I'll take class base 2. In the public section, void show cout class, this is base class 2, this is base class 2. Okay, so in the previous example I had taken typical considerations. For example, a customer wants to read information and an employee, like that I had taken real-time examples. For the exam point of view, I have taken a simple program. There I have taken only one member function, each class having one member function, and we are going to derive these two classes from another class, that is derived class. Class name, I'll take name of the class is derived colon visibility mode, I'll take public. I'm going to inherit base class 1, this is base 1 as a public mode, base 1 comma public. You must mention access visibility mode separately for these two classes, base 2 in the public section, void display cout. This is derived class of base 1 and base 2. See, in multiple inheritance, two or more base classes are there and one derived class. Here, base 1 and base 2 are the base classes. From these two classes, I am going to inherit this class, that is derived class. So base 1 inherited as a public mode, base 2 also public mode. We must mention access visibility mode separately for these two classes. Now I have to create object for derived class. In the main function, void main, I'll take object. I have to create object. You all know how to create object. Class name and variable list semicolon, isn't it? So what is the class name here? Derived is the class name, derived. And object name I'll take D. When you create object, what happens? There is a memory allocation for this object D. See, the mode of inheritance is public. You all know the visibility mode and what are the rules of these visibility modes. There are three visibility modes: private, public and protected. any class can be inherited any of these three modes, either private mode or public mode or protected mode. In this example, I have inherited these two classes in the public mode. So what is the rule of public access, public visibility mode? Base class public members are become a public members of the derived class. Base class protected members are become protected members of the derived class. Private members of base class cannot be inherited. This rule we have already discussed, isn't it? So what is there in this class? This is a base 1. In this class, void print is a member function. It belongs to public access specifier. So I did not take private and protected access specifiers. To make you understand easily, I have taken only one member function in each class. This program you can write for the examination. For that purpose only I have taken a simple program. If you are comfortable with the previous program, you can go ahead with that. But while accessing a member, we have to be careful that member belongs to which access specifier, whether it is inheritable or not, how to access. These things you need to remember. So if it is difficult for you, you can go ahead with this program. It is very simple. Nothing is there in this, means data member is not there, only member function I have taken. So it would be easy for you. Class base 1 contains one function, that is print, and class base 2 having another one function, that is show function. So they are all public members. This public member will inherit it to the public section of the derived class. So derived is a derived class of base 1 and also base 2. Okay, base 1 class is inherited in a public mode. That's why the public member of a base 1, what is there in the public access specifier of base 1 class? Print function is there. This print function has become a public member of this derived class. And another class, base 2, that is also inherited as a public mode. This show function also inherited to public section of the derived class. Now total there are 3 functions in the public access specifier of derived class derived. I hope you are understanding. So these 2 member functions are in public section. The visibility mode is public. So these 2 becomes the public members of the derived class. So how to access public members of a class? Using object and dot operator. I want to call first print function. We can call directly from this object d dot print. Though it is a member function of this class, base 1 class, it is already inherited to derived class. So it can be accessed through the object of this derived class. And I want to call show function using this object d dot show. And one more, d dot display. Close. Understood? So this is about multiple inheritance. See here, the pictorial representation would be like this. Base 1, this is a base 1 class, and another class base 2, base 2. So from these 2 classes we have inherited one more class, that is derived class. So this is derived. What are the member functions of base class? What are the members? Members nothing but both data members and member functions. In this example I have taken only member functions. I did not take any data member there. So what is the member function of this class? What is that? Print. Print belongs to which class? Base 1. Another class is base 2 and its member function is show. And these 2 functions are inherited to derived class, and derived class its own member function is display. Okay, so using the object of derived class we can access print function, show function and also display function. Understood? Next, Type hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. We discussed single level, multi-level and multiple inheritance. Now, what is hierarchical inheritance? Hierarchical inheritance, it is opposite to multiple inheritance. If you understand multiple inheritance, it is quite opposite to multiple inheritance. What is that multiple inheritance? Two base classes and one derived class. Means a class which is derived from two or more base classes, that is multiple inheritance. Hierarchical means it's a tree structure or hierarchy. Hierarchy means like this. You can derive any number of class from base class. So this structure we call it as hierarchy, hierarchical. Inheritance, it follows this structure, then we call it as hierarchical inheritance. So this is base class and these are derived classes. Understood? Now what is the definition of hierarchical inheritance? By saying this, we can write the definition. Two or more classes are derived from single base class is called hierarchical inheritance. Two or more classes are derived from single base class. Base class is called hierarchical inheritance. Now, what is the syntax of hierarchical inheritance? This is definition. Now, syntax. Before syntax, let us see the pictorial representation. This is base class. And these two are the derived classes of base class. Like take base class A and one derived class B and another is C. The properties of base class are inherited to class B and class C. Now, syntax. Class A, open flat bracket. See here. Class A, it's a base class and some data members and member functions. Class B, colon, visibility mode A. Then class C, colon, visibility mode A, because B inherited from A and class C also inherited from A. Okay, this is the syntax of hierarchical inheritance. Let us understand the program on hierarchical inheritance. I'll take a program like a class which contains address, okay, and I'm going to derive two classes. One is customer and another is employee. So in customer class I want to read address of a customer, and in employee class also I want to read address of employee. So both classes require the same properties. Instead of declaring these data members in both classes, I can take a class and that class having what is that? Address information. So what are the details for address? Address, city, street, state, pin code, these are all comes under address. So and it is common for both employee and customer. If you want to store customer address or if you want to store employee address, then you can inherit the properties of address class. So that is the use of hierarchical inheritance. If you consider phones, mobile communications or phone hierarchy, see, the first they developed only the phones are meant for to give call and to receive that, to give the answer. So this is these two transactions are happening in the initial telephone system, isn't it, in the landline. So what happened there, we use the numbers. Using numbers we call, and from that side we'll get the answer. So this is the procedure. When you come to mobile phones, along with this basic feature, by dialing the number we can call. Along with this we can use the name of a subscriber, isn't it? Through the name of the subscriber we can call, we can give call to other person. When you come to development in the what is that, mobile communication, that smartphones, along with the phone number, and through the phone number we can call, and through the name of the subscriber we can call. We can come to know which is the call, from which subscriber we got the call. These informations will be there in the mobile, isn't it? But these informations are not there in the basic telephone system. So what was there in the basic telephone system? Only the data members, what we can consider, number, okay, subscriber number, and what are the procedure, what are the functions. So what we can take the data members, only the subscriber number, and what are the functions, we can give call to that subscriber, another subscriber, and that subscriber answers to your call. So these two are the functions. Along, when you come to next generation, so along with the number we can call through the name of the subscriber. So the data members, what we can take, number, subscriber number and subscriber name. Okay, then what are the functions? Call, answer and call back. These are the functions we can use in the what is that, as a member function of that class. So like that, the existing class functions, existing class data members can be inherited to another class. That hierarchy they followed. Like that, in this here I have taken an example. A class must contain the address, general thing what are there in the address, and these class data are inherited to two subclasses. One is customer and another one is employee. Header files, ash include iostream.h, ash include conio.h, class, address, in the protected section I'll take char city 20, char street name, then I'll take door number, integer type, door number. Here I can take state or 30. Here pin code also I'll take integer type. So these are the common features comes under address. In the public section, void input cout, enter. First I'll take enter door number, street name, city, state and pin code. See in extraction, door number DNO, Street name, yes name I have taken, SN I have taken. City, city itself. State, I have taken data member as a state. Pin code, PC I have taken. Now I want to display these details. Void disp, cout, insertion, door number, then in front of that you have to display the content of DNO. Backslash n, one by one I'll display. Cout, then street name, SN. Next, city, I'll continue here. Cout, state, state only, state here, backslash n, cout, then pin code, PC, semicolon. Now I'll close the class here. Next, now I'll derive a class called customer. It is a subclass of class address. Class customer colon. I'll inherit in a public mode base class name address. So city, the customer class it must contain its own data members like customer ID and customer name, and customer address, it inherits the properties of this class. Protected int customer ID char customer name. In the public section, void, I'll take void scan, name of the function, cout, enter customer ID and customer name, cin extraction, cid extraction, cname. Now I'll display customer details, void display cout customer ID CID cout. Now I'll give backslash n here. I did not give backslash n there. To take cursor next line, we must give backslash n. Customer name, cname, close, function, sorry, class close. Now one more class. I'll take employee, class emp colon Here also mode of inheritance I'll take public, and base class name is address. No full stop there. Here what are the data members of this class? Employee ID and employee name. Protected, I'll take protected member. Int EID and employee name, char e name of 20. In the public section, void, I'll take get data, name of the function is get data. Cout insertion, enter employee ID and employee name. Cin extraction EID extraction e name. Now void print cout employee ID emp ID. Label left to you. I had taken data member name EID, but while displaying I'll take label emp ID. That employee ID is stored in EID. So while displaying the content you must copy the same variable name here. Cout insertion employee name e name. After that I'll give \n, close, class close here. Now to access a member functions of customer, we must create object for customer class. So, and to access a members of employee, we have to create object for employee. Understood? So, now we shall write a main function here. I'll write main function. Void main. Now I want to read details for customer. So I must create object for customer class. Customer C. Now I want to read customer ID and customer name. These two instructions are there in the scan function. So we should call scan function. C.scan. Then it display enter customer ID and customer name. Then it allows us to enter values. When this statement executes means it allows the user to enter value. After that I want to read address of customer. Let us give the statement here. We'll continue here. Cout enter address of customer. Sorry, I don't have space here. I'll continue here. Cout enter customer's address. So in order to read address, there is a function called input. Okay, this function belongs to class address. So we have done hierarchical inheritance in this program. The customer and employee are subclasses of address. So the members of address class are inherited to both classes. Now what is there in the customer class protected section? See, this protected members are inherited to protected section of the derived class customer, because the mode of inheritance is public. You know that public mode of inheritance, base class public members are inherited to public section of the derived class, and base class protected members are inherited to protected section of the derived class. Now the protected members are all inherited to protected section of the derived class customer, and public members are inherited to public section of the derived class, here public. So while writing this access specifier, to highlight you should not give underline and all, you should not give like that, okay. Just you have to write these keywords in a lower case. After writing keywords, you must leave some space here, one space, then colon. Don't have to highlight ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ underline ಹಾಕೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. Now, so input function and display function, input and disp functions are inherited to derived class public section. Now what is there in the derived public section of the customer class? Scan function, display function, then input function and disp function. These four functions are there in the public section of the derived class customer. Two are its own member functions and two are inherited functions. Now I want to display customer's address, so I have to call this function c.input. Input also has become a member function of customer class. Now after displaying that statement, enter customer's address, then it display this statement, enter door number, street name, city, state and pin code, then we enter values. After that it gets values from the keyboard and stored in the respective data members. Now I want to display customers details, what we have read just now. See out customer info /n. Now I want to display customer name, customer ID and customer address. To display customer ID and customer name, there is a function called display function. So we must call this function display open close semicolon. To display address, we have function called disp function. So whose address I am displaying here, customer's address, so I must call that function using the object of class customer, c.disp. So this is about customer class. Then employee, I want to read employee details first. So to read employee details, there is a function called getData. So we must call getData function. Then who has to call the object of that class, EMP class. How to create object, you know that. I'll continue here. I'll continue. EMP, E is a object. I want to read employee name and employee ID. So which function is there? GetData function. So I have to call that function e.getData. GetData open close semicolon. Next e.getData over no. After that I want to read employee address. Again customer and employee are the subclasses of address class. Obviously the members are inherited to both classes. Employee public section contains a getData, print and input disp. So total 4 functions are there in employee class also. 2 are its own functions and 2 are inherited functions. Okay. Now before that I'll give a statement here. Enter employee address, employee's address, input, input. Now I want to display all the information of this employee. First I want to display employee name and employee ID. To display that, there is a function called print. So it's the member function of the class EMP, its own function. I have to call that function. Before that I'll give a statement, see out employee info Now E dot print. After that, I want to display employee address. So door number, these are the employee address. E dot disp function close. See here, both classes, customer and employee, both classes requires these many data members: city, states, then street name, door number, pin code. If we had not taken this class, address class, every time in every class I must take these many data members in order to display the address of customer and address of employee. That's why I have taken a base class, and that class is meant for getting a address of a person. Here the person, employee and customer. These two classes are make use of these data members and member functions. So by this inheritance we can reduce the memory space and complexity, program complexity, and we can save the time, because already there in the base class just we have inherited to these two classes. Understood? So this is the typical example for hierarchical inheritance. For the exam point of view, I'll show another program. Header files as include iostream, as include conio.h, class, I'll take class A, name of the class is A. In the public section, void show cout. This A class, A is a base class, or I'll take A is base class. Now another class, class B colon, I'll take mode of inheritance is public. Then A, B inherited from class A. The structure is like this: A, B and C. Public void print cout. B is a subclass of class A. One more class I'll inherit from class A, that is class C colon. Here also I'll take mode of inheritance is public, class A. In the public access specifier, I'll take a function void cout. Class C is a subclass of A, class A. Now main function, void main. So In order to access members of its own member of class B, we have to create object for class B. So the class B object can access its parent class and also its own member function. To access class C member, we have to create object for class C. So class C object can access both parent class, its parent class member and its own member function. So in hierarchical, for every class I have to create object, that is the child classes B. This is a class B. I'll take obj1 as an object name. Now obj1, here I'll make some changes. Class C is also a subclass of class A. Class, now object1 dot show. Then it display this statement, A is a base class. After that I want to display this statement, so I must call print function obj1 dot print. See, one thing you should understand here, there is no mandatory you have to call functions in this order only. Which statement you want to execute, which pattern you want to execute, according to that you have to call the function. If you want to display first show function, if you want to display this statement, A is a base class and class C is also a subclass of A, then you have to create object for class C, then you have to call show function. Understood? Then disp function. ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅದು ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಆರ್ಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇದೇ ಆರ್ಡರಲ್ಲೇ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು I'll create object for class C. Name of the class is C. obj2 dot show. Why I am taking again show function? Through object 2 also we can access the member function of class A. So it demonstrates class show function can be accessed through object 1 and also through object 2, so that it illustrates. So these two classes inherit this member function. obj2 dot its own member function is disp open close semicolon. So this is a simple program. You can write this for exam. If they ask explain hierarchical inheritance, so you have to write the definition, and this program you can write. The previous one what I had shown, that is a typical program. Whichever you feel comfortable, you can write that. Here I inherited these two classes in a public mode. If I inherit this class in a private mode, one class I inherited in a public mode, another class I have inherited in a private mode, then how to access members? See here, you all know the visibility mode. So the entire chapter is based on the visibility mode only. Understood? If you want to understand inheritance chapter, first you have to understand mode of inheritance, then how to access the members. These things you should be perfect, then it is easy. See here, in the public section of base class there is a member function. So class B is inherited in a public mode. The public members are inherited to public section of the derived class. Okay, now class C inherited as a private mode. Base class public members are inherited to private section of the derived class. Here I must write access specifier. If you won't write any access specifier, by default it's a private. Okay, still I'll take private. Here I'll take private access specifier. If that class doesn't contain any access specifier, means default all members are become private members. Still I have written private, explicitly I have written. Now Class C is a subclass of class A. Now display is a member function of class C. It inherits the properties of class A, show. Then after inheritance, show function has become a private member of the derived class. So where this function goes here in the private section. You know that. What are the things are inherited from base class to derived class? Public and protected members, isn't it? So public member, one public member function is there, void show is there. This function inherited to derived class, no doubt, isn't it? Yavdu class, base class in the derived class ge inherit agodu public members matte protected members. Yavudella inherit agodilla? Private and constructors. Private members cannot be inherited to derived class, and constructors also not inherited to derived class. So one the clear ida yavdu base class inda yava members derived class ge inherit agutte. Base class in the private protected matte public members inherit agutte. So in this particular example, base class having only public member function. So this public member function inherited to derived class. After inheritance, these members are become what kind of members in the derived class? Either they become private members or public members or protected members. That is decided by visibility mode here. We already discussed these things in the mode of inheritance. Still, I recalling these concepts here. Because in this example, I have taken private mode of inheritance. Now, the show function inherited to private section of the derived class. Therefore, class C private section having a function, one member function called show function. Now, I want to access show function. I want to call show function using object of class C. Is it possible to access using the object of class C, obj2? Is it possible to call obj2 dot show now? Before I had taken public, there it was possible. Now I changed to private. Now is it possible to call show function through obj2? Why? It's not possible because that show function belongs to which section? Private section. You all know that private members cannot be accessed through the non-member function. Main is a non-member function, so it cannot access a private data. Then who can access a private data? That class member function or a friend function can access. Here I did not take friend function, I have taken member function. Which is the member function of this class? This member function can access a private data. So show function, I must write like this, show. So in this mode of inheritance, this statement is wrong. It gives error. If you write there, it gives error. Just you have to call only obj2 disp. You should not write this. Then what happens? Display function will invoke. Soon after, it enters that show function. What is there in the show function? A is a base class. After executing this statement, what is the next statement? Class C is also a subclass of A. This statement will display. So in this example, I explained hierarchical inheritance and also that hierarchical inheritance in different mode, private mode and also public mode. If it would be protected mode, if I take here, I am doing these changes in the same program. I hope you are understanding. Protected. If I take protected mode here, now base class public members are inherited to protected section. I must write protected explicitly, protected colon. Here this is a public. Now base class public members are inherited to protected section of the derived class, and here base class public members are inherited to private section of the derived class. Now I want to call show function through the object of class B, obj1. Where is show function? Show function is inherited to protected section of the derived class. As per the rule, protected members cannot be accessed outside the class, or non-member function cannot access protected data. A member function of that class can access a protected data. Which is the member, another member function of this class? Print is a member function of this class. This can access the protected data of this class. Now I have to write like this, show. To call a member function from another member function of a same class, we should not use object and dot operator. Now, this statement should not write here. obj1.print, I have to call this function because the mode of inheritance is protected. Then show function will execute because the first, after entering this function, which is the first statement, show function is the first statement. So it executes the show function. Here I have taken capital show. A is a base class, it display. After that B is a subclass of class A. Now I want to call the show function through the object 2, that is class C object, that what I explained before. The same thing you have to write this right here. Understood? So while writing in the examination, you should not change the mode. Better take public. Here also public. What I explained at the beginning, that is enough for your exam point of view. Still I shown how to change the mode. Here also. And these two are not required. What was there in the before? It is enough. Object 1 dot show. Here object 2 dot show. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅದೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಕೊನೆಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮೋಡ್, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮೋಡ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎನಫ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ. Still I had shown how to change the mode of inheritance in a hierarchical inheritance. Understood? Now 5 mark questions. 5 mark questions. We were discussing 5 mark questions in the last classes. Let me continue the same. Now the next question is, how destructors are used in inheritance? How destructors are used in inheritance. Explain with an example. You all know the purpose of destructor. Destructor, it is a special member function of a class. It gets called automatically when objects are going to be destroyed. So what does it mean? Destroyed means the allocated memory will be deallocated. When memory gets allocated for the objects of the class, when we create, for the data members of the class, whenever you create object, then memory will be allocated for the data members of a class. That is in C++. So we are discussing C++, no? In C++, whenever we create object, then memory gets allocated for the data members and member functions of the class. Okay. So after execution, after completion of the program, that memory has to released The whatever the allocated memory at the beginning, now it has to release so that the next program, so another data can access that memory. Unless you release the memory will be occupied with the data, so we will have a lack of memory locations. So it is a good practice to deallocate the memory after completion of the program. If you take dynamic memory allocations, so far we had taken static memory allocation. Static means the memory space is allocated at the time of compilation, not execution time. Okay, compilation, what is mean by compilation? High level languages are converted into machine level language. At that time the memory gets allocated. During execution you cannot modify the size of memory. Whatever their allocated memory, how much memory has been allocated, you can give the values for those memory locations. You cannot modify the memory. Okay, so these auto variables are deallocated automatically. Usually in a program, if you take auto variables or static allocations, automatically when program execution is over, automatically they will be deallocated. So when do we need destructors? Some data members are allocated dynamically. Okay, when you create a data members dynamically, when you initialize values dynamically to the data member, then it is mandatory we must deallocate those memory locations explicitly. In such situations we need destructors. But in your syllabus they did not give dynamic memory allocation, still they are using destructors. Okay, so I hope you understood what is the purpose of destructor. Destructor, it gets called automatically when objects are going to destroy, when allocated memory is going to be destroyed or deallocated. ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ರಿಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸಾ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್? If both classes, base class and derived class, if both classes having destructors, then which destructor executes first? Derived class destructor executes first, then base class destructors. In the case of constructor, which constructor executes first? Base class constructor, later derived class constructor. Okay, now the question is how destructors are used in inheritance. Explain with an example. So we must take through the example only we have to explain it. We must take two classes and those two classes must having destructors. So we have to give the explanation which class destructor executes first. Okay, destructors are used to deallocate the memory of data members which has been allocated at the time of object construction. In inheritance, if both classes, that is base class and derived class having destructors Then derived class constructor, sorry, derived class destructor executes first, then base class destructor. Destructor executes. Example, class base I'll take only destructor, public. You all know how to write destructor. Destructor name same as class name, but preceded with the tilde operator. To make sure which destructor executes first, I'll write instruction here. I'll write some display statement. Base class destructor. When a control terminates from the program ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮುಗೀತು ಅಂದಾಗ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಡಿಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಯಾವ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕೋಲನ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಬೇಸ್. Now here also in the protected section I'll take int y here, public derived cout derived class destructor. Now main function, void main, so I'll create object for derived class, derived D. Whenever you create object for derived class, so what are the members are inherited from base class to derived class here? X mode of inheritance is public, so the protected members are inherited to protected, and public members are destructors, so destructor cannot be inherited. So both for X and Y there would be a memory allocation. Now function close. So when we create object, what happens? The data members, base class data member and derived class data members will be constructed, means that memory will be allocated. After completion of this program, which destructor will execute? This destructor will execute first, then this destructor. So it display derived class destructor, then later base class destructor. So in this way we have to write the explanation. Next question. explain the difference between private and protected mode of inheritance. Protected mode of inheritance, not access specifier here, don't get confused. Here they are asking mode of inheritance. So in the previous classes or in the class and objects we discussed the difference between private access specifier and protected access specifier. Here private and protected mode of inheritance. Mode of inheritance. See, first thing is a rule, private mode and protected mode. Private mode, now protected mode. Sorry, I'll write here, protected mode. First point, private mode. In private mode of inheritance, both public and protected members are inherited to private section of the derived class, or they become private members of the derived class. In protected mode of inheritance, both base class public and protected members are become protected members of the derived class. Next, syntax, then example. I hope you understood how to write the answer for this question. First the rule, then syntax and example. Example already we discussed in the mode of inheritance, private mode and protected mode. In the next class, I will come up with some more 5-mark questions on inheritance. Thank you.